Welcome to this Price a Job tutorial. In this video, we will have a general overview of Price a Job and how it can save your time and effort when it comes to project management, estimating, building regulations, and accounting for any domestic building project. Price a Job is remarkable, cloud-based construction estimating software with incredible versatility and pinpoint accuracy that cuts quotation times down from hours to minutes. Designed by a team of architects, quantity surveyors, legal consultants, web designers, and software professionals, it is as thorough as it is easy to use. Whether you're on a mobile device, tablet, laptop, or desktop, Price a Job travels with you to provide you the tools you need when you need them. Getting started is easy. You don't need to register or provide a credit card to jump right into a test demo project. I'm going to log in for this tutorial to show full access to suppliers' price lists and remove the demo watermark from the final reports. Price a Job has a tidy layout that is organized under these main header menus: Company, Project, Estimate, Scheduling, Accounting, and Building Regulations. Under the Company header menu, we have a variety of options starting with Company Setup. Here you can customize with your own company logo, company name, address, email, website, and telephone contact info. Below, you can select whether you are VAT registered, and if so, input your VAT number. Below, you can set your default profit margins, either by adjusting the slider or by inputting a direct value. These default profit margins will be copied to all future projects. Next, let's take a look at the Customers tab. This is a convenient database of all of your customers, including their name and contact info, as well as any specific notes that you keep. You also have tabs for Statements of Account, any documents or images you would like to upload, and freeform notes that you keep as well. To add a new customer, simply click Add New. Here we can put the customer's name and save. Then we can input the customer's details and any specific notes. Next, let's take a look at the Staff tab. Here we can add all of our staff members. Click Add New and input their name. We can also complete the form with their job title, contact info, personnel details, payment info, timesheets, skills, qualifications, rates, documents or photos for upload, and miscellaneous notes. Next, we have a management section. There are sections for you to upload photos or documents. There's a handy new feature, a to-do list that's coming soon, and areas for you to manage your suppliers, subcontractors, plant and tools such as excavators, breakers, bulldozers, and cherry pickers, and a fleet manager for vehicle management. Next, we have a resources section, and these are your estimation pages. Here you can access the hourly and daily rates for tradespeople, as well as info rates based on a regional map. Depending on where the work is being conducted, the rates may be modified by 0%, as in the Southeast region, where the standard rate for architect is £50 per hour. Whereas in Inner London, the rate is modified by plus 4% to increase this rate to £52 per hour. You can view these tradespeople rates in hourly or daily rates based on an 8-hour day. If the bulk of your business is located in one of these regions, you can apply the info rate to your default rate. And this new rate will be carried over to all future projects that you create. If you have a specific project in a different region, say East Midlands, then the info rates will be significantly reduced by region. And if you wish to transfer these rates to the individual project, you can simply click Apply to Project Rates, and the East Midlands modifier will be applied to the project rates. If there's tradespeople that you'll be using that are not shown on the list, you can click Add Tradespeople. And this feature is particularly handy for adding groups of tradespeople. Say, for example, 2 bricklayers and 1 laborer. And you can then input their hourly rate, say 60 quid, and save. And now this crew is indicated on your list of tradespeople as a single unit. Also in the Resources section, you have a Materials tab. And here is a list of thousands of materials that you may use in virtually any domestic project. If there's something specific you're looking for, you can use the search field, say cement. And the list is instantly filtered to show all the cement-related materials. If there's anything missing, you can simply add a new material by entering it here, selecting the unit, inputting the price, choosing a category, and inputting the supplier's website link, and save. Now, if we clear the search field, we can sort the materials by My Library. And this shows a list of all the materials that you have created yourself. Then from the Details menu, you can select the drop-down for supplier and select from the list a supplier for this material. Next, in the Resources section, we have Labor. And while My Library is selected, only our custom inputs will be shown. We can select all materials to show a full list of anticipated labor times for hundreds of different tasks. For example, if we're looking for tiling, we can look in the search field, tiling, and this will filter the list down to tiling tradespeople with descriptions for tiling stone, ceramic tiles, porcelain tiles, or skirting boards. In this example, tiling stone, 1 square meter takes 1.49 hours, which would be a cost of £37.55. By changing the tradespeople that we have assigned to this task, instead of a tiler, perhaps we just assign a laborer, the price reduces drastically down to £12.07. Whenever we make any changes to these, the menu item will be highlighted in yellow to indicate the change. We can also filter the menu by clicking Only Changed, and it will show only the inputs that we have changed. To reset this back to the default, we can click the Reset button. And the project is again assigned to tilers. Next, let's take a look at the Project Header menu. This is where all the details for our specific projects are held. In this example project, we have a project title, a brief project description with the job number, estimate dates, currencies, customer, and address. If we have a variety of projects, we can select them from the right-hand menu here or from the drop-down list up at the top. To create a new project, simply click Create Project. We'll call this project Dave's House, and save. And the project has been created. For the proposal description, we'll call this Single Story Extension 6 by 3 meters. A job reference number is automatically assigned, and we can set the estimate date, currency, category, and status. Then we can select the drop-down menu to assign this project to a customer. And the contact info is automatically populated from the customer info that we input under the Company tab. Next, we can input the site address, or we can copy it from the customer address. Here, under the Versions tab, we can keep track of all the change requests that happen throughout the course of the project. Under the VAT and Profit tab, we can make adjustments specific to this single project, such as reducing the profit on materials or increasing the profit on labor. And these changes will be specific only to this one project and not carry over to the rest of our projects. Next, we have a Location tab. And this shows us the site location, which we can then open in Google Maps or copy a link to share with our builders and suppliers. For each project, we also have a Management section, where we can upload photos, documents or PDF files, and calculate timesheets. Here for the timesheet, we can add a person. We'll add our staff member, Alex, and input their work hours. And the total hours are calculated on the timesheet. We also have a tab for emails, And Price a Job has a variety of email templates that we can choose from: quote letters, receive payments, new invoice letter, or create new templates. And allows us to send directly from within Price a Job. Next, let's take a look at the Estimate tab. Builders, contractors, and quantity surveyors can quickly calculate any domestic project using over 200 estimation modules, including foundations, ground floor, walls, openings including windows and doors, roofs, plumbing, internal finishes, and much more. If you need something else, just let us know and we can add it. We're constantly developing this tool to be as useful as possible for everyone who needs it. To get started, select the project from the drop-down list that you need to estimate. In this example, we're adding a single-story extension to Dave's house. It features a back wall, 2 side walls, and a roof, with several door and window openings. Let's go back to Price a Job, and we'll start with the foundation. In this case, we need a trench foundation. And create. Usually, we'll start in the right panel, where we can input all of our dimensions. Now, the foundation run in this case, we can see is going to be 4 plus 6 plus 4. So 14 meters. And this is a fairly simple calculation, but Price a Job makes it even easier with a perimeter calculator. By clicking the perimeter calculator button, and we simply click the plus button to add a section. And then we choose a shape for our section, and this is a rectangular gutter with 2 sides. On this side, we can set our length as 4 meters, and the back wall we can set for 6. And the calculator lets us know that our total length is 14 meters. We can save that dimension, and it is saved in our calculator. If we needed to add extra sections, like for example garage, we can simply add a new section and add that amount here. Say another 4 meters by another 6. And save. And this new section will be added and automatically calculated for us. We'll just remove this example and stick with our original Storey extension of 14 meters perimeter. And save. And that is now stored in the foundation run. If we need to go back to review our calculations, we can simply click on Perimeter Calculator, and all of our sections that we calculated will be stored here for future reference. Also here, we can input the trench width of 600 millimeters, depth of 1000 millimeters, and concrete depth of 750, and we'll simply keep these default measurements. Here in the main panel, we have 3 panes. The first pane is the sketch pane. Next we have the description pane. And third we have the estimate pane. Each of these panes are able to be expanded to full screen. And when we select a measurement in the right-hand pane, it is highlighted on the sketch so we are clear about exactly which feature we are measuring. Next in the pane, we can select our excavation, whether we're doing this with a machine excavator or being dug by hand, and the calculation automatically updates to reflect this change. If we're using a machine, we can select the machine that will be used. Next, we can specify our earthwork support, with various widths and timbers indicated. In this case, we don't require earthwork support, so we'll simply deselect this feature, and the earthwork support is removed from the sketch. Likewise, with mesh reinforcement, we can select our settings, or if we don't require it, simply deselect and the mesh reinforcement is removed. We also have an estimate section for disposal of soil, and the concrete foundation. We can select to use a ready mix, in this case C25, or we can just mix on site, and the estimates are automatically updated for that. And as we make these changes, our estimate panel is constantly changing as well. Here in the estimate panel, it shows all the pricing as we're making our changes. So if we scroll down to the concrete foundation, and we choose ready mix instead, it updates the pricing for our concrete foundation. Let's leave this set at ready mix, and we'll see that we're mixing the concrete on site, and this has been added to the estimate. The estimate pane shows all of the estimates by stage. So here is the excavation stage, and if we remove that, the excavation is simply removed from the estimate. We'll include the excavation in our estimate, and notice that the description is also changing every time we make an update as well. So in this case, we're using site mixed concrete foundation. If we choose the ready mix, the description is updated to show ready mixed concrete foundation. If we need to make any changes to the description, we can simply deselect the automatic edit description, and then here we can input our own notes. Within the estimate pane, we can also adjust the amount of units required, and our totals are automatically updated to reflect that. If we need to undo any changes, we can simply click Reset. Or if no cost is required, perhaps if the customer is providing this material, we can simply select the settings icon and deselect visibility, and the item is removed from the estimate and the subtotal for materials. If we want to add it back in, we can select visibility, and it's added back in, including the subtotal. We can also visit the website to shop this product and get all the details from the supplier's website. If we're able to get the material any cheaper, we can override the price here, and the price is highlighted in yellow to indicate the change. If we need to reset the price back to the supplier's regular price, we can hit the reset button here under the settings. Notice that the pricing on the supplier's website is $31.67, whereas on our estimate sheet is $36.42. The reason for this is this includes our profit markup. Here in the project settings icon, we can select this, and we can see our materials markup includes 15% markup. As we adjust this slider, we can see the cost of materials changing in the background on our estimate. If we reduce this cost of materials right down to 0, we can see that the price of $31.67 matches the supplier's price. So we'll go ahead and return this back to our 15%. On this page, we can also choose to add the profit or not, and hide the profit so that it is not shown on the screen down here. You also have the ability to add to any stage new materials, new labor, new plant and tools, or other costs. For example, for this stage, let's add a new material. Perhaps we're adding some timber. So we can simply type in the search field sawn timber, and then we can scroll through the results to see which one we need. And select that, and the material is added to our stage. Then we can select the quantity. We'll select 30 meters. And the cost estimate is automatically updated, including our profit. You can also choose to add a material manually. You can simply click in the materials field and simply start typing. And input the price, 60 quid. And this is automatically added to our stage totals and subtotal for materials. We can also add plant and tool. So click on this. It adds a new section in this stage and opens the plant and tool library in the right-hand pane. And here we can do a search from the library, and perhaps we need a concrete pump. And we can simply select that from the results, and it's automatically added to our stage with pricing included. And when we're done, we can close the library. And sometimes the customer only wants to know the cost of materials or labor. So we have a filter tool here that we can use to choose the category. Right now we're displaying material, labor, plant and tool, and other costs. If the customer doesn't want to know the material costs, we can deselect that, and the cost of materials is removed from this project. We still have the cost for labor and plant and tool, but no cost of materials. And this filter is specific only to this module. If you want to filter all modules within this project, we also have a global filter here, which you can click, and you can change the defaults to hide or show materials, labor, plant and tool, or other costs. And by deselecting this, the materials cost will be removed from all modules within this project. So we'll leave this selected as visible for now, and exit the filters menu. Now before we move on, let's be sure we add our materials back in. There we go. And now we can move on to the next section of our estimate, which would be walls. However, before we calculate the area of our walls, let's first calculate the area of our openings, the doors and windows. By calculating the area of the doors and windows, it will make it easier to calculate the areas of the walls. So let's start with the external doors. And our model here has French doors. So we will select French door and create. This is added to our estimate here on the side. And again, we will start in the right-hand pane, and we require a quantity of 1 door. And the type of door is a 1.8 meter. And the closers and lintels are okay. We'll leave those. And now let's add our window. So go back to Openings module, select Windows, create, and we require a quantity of 1 window for the back wall. And we can set the width of this is 900 millimeters. And we can select the style. In this case, we need to select a style 12 to match our French doors. Yes. And so now that's our windows and doors added. Now that we have our wall openings calculated, now we can add our wall. So let's go up to the top here, and under the walls module, we'll select external walls. And this will be a cavity wall. And create. And once again, we'll start on the right. So here we can select the wall style. We can select either brick or block externally, block block, block brick, or brick brick. In this case, we're selecting brick block. And then we can calculate the outer skin area using the area calculator again. If we know the area, we can input it manually. Otherwise, we'll use the calculator function here. This opens the area calculator, and we'll start by adding a section. We'll start first with the back wall, which is a rectangular square shape. So we'll refer to our model, and it is 6 meters long by 2.5 meters tall. So here we'll input 2.5, and for length, 6 meters. So our total area is 15 meters, and we can save. Next, we need to add the sidewalls, which are a trapezoid shape. So we'll go back to our area calculator and add another section. And this section will be a trapezoid. And the measurements on this are 4 meters in depth by 2.5 and 3.5 meters tall. So 3.5 meters tall in the back, 2.5 meters tall in the front, and 4 meters deep. Yes. And then we can save that area. And because we have 2 walls on the left and right sides, we will increase the quantity of this one to 2. And the area calculator automatically calculates the total area. So we can save our changes. And the total outer skin is 39 square meters. And if we need to, we can go back into the area calculator to see our measurements. Now we must remove some square area for our openings, which is why we calculated our openings previously, the windows and French door. And these are stored in our library. So here we can click on Library, and we can select the windows and select the door. And notice that these are indicated by a subtraction symbol, indicating that these are being subtracted from our square area. And if we need to, we can click on this to convert the subtraction symbol to an addition symbol. But in this case, these openings are being subtracted from the total area of our walls. So we'll click the Save button here to commit that to our outer skin area, and that's automatically calculated. And again, if we need to go back in to see the details of that, we can see that all stored here. We can also repeat that with the inner skin area. In this case, we'll just make a rough estimate, say 33 square meters, and input that manually. Now with most materials, we can also set an allowance per unit. So if we don't know the exact supplier or price just yet, we can input an allowance per unit. In this example, we'll say 85 pence per brick, which is about 850 pounds per thousand. And notice that this updates the estimate as well as the description, noting that there is a bricks allowance of 850 pounds per thousand plus VAT. If you need, under the settings icon, you can reset the price, and if you select a supplier, you can go back to the settings icon and visit their website to check the price. And that calculates the total price for our wall, which is now added to our grand total. The next module is to calculate the roof. So up at the top here, we'll select the roof module and select roof structure. And if we refer to our model, we see that this is a lean-to style roof. So from the submenu here, we will select lean-to roof and create. So let's expand our sketch pane to get a better look. And we'll rotate this 3D image to get a better look at our roof. And there are many different styles of roof that we can select from. This shows a gabled roof. We can also select a hip roof. We can also select a valley roof. We can also select a wall roof or an abutment. Or we can select a hip empty roof. And you can see that by adding different sections of roof that you have the ability to estimate a very complicated roof. In this case, we're estimating a normal gable roof on both sides. So let's set the length of this roof at 6 meters. And the width of the sidewalls is 4 meters. And the roof pitch is 17 degrees. And that looks good. We'll compare that to our model. And the height of the roof is 1 meter. And you can see the pitch is automatically calculated for us. We can also input the soffit length. And we'll keep that at 200. And same thing with the ladder width. We can input that as we need and change the ladder width, but we'll keep this at 200. In this case, we'll keep it simple, and we'll remove the ceiling joists from the estimate. And we'll also remove the collars. So as we can see here, the price of job system has automatically calculated the rafters at 17 beams, plus 2 for the ladders, so a total of 19 quantity required. We'll add one more for offcuts, just in case. Price of job also measures the exact length of the rafters required and matches it up to the next available length of timber, in this case 4.8 meters. And you can select the timber size to your own specifications. Now we'll take a look at the ridge, where we can select from different sizes. And we can also go down to Roof Extras and click on Timbers and Fixings. And here we can add some nails, and we can select some galvanized nails and set the quantity to 2 and X to close. And now if we close our sketch pane, we can see that the estimate includes the full list of materials needed, and we can add or edit items or prices or quantities as needed. It's all very flexible. In the left pane, we can click on the module price to see the module summary. And here we can change the title. For example, we can change this to Extension Roof. We can also duplicate this entry. For example, if we needed a roof for a garage, we can delete the entry, or we can set it as optional. This will show the price of the estimate, but not included in the total at the bottom of the quote. If you're unsure of the prices, you can set this as a provisional sum. Now, when we close this summary and go to the reports, we can scroll to the bottom and we'll see the extension roof listed as optional as a provisional sum, but not included in the grand total. If we go back to the Calculations tab, we can select the module summary for the extension roof. We can change the pricing to General and deselect Optional. Close the summary, and when we go back to Reports, we can see that the roof is now included in the main quote and included in the grand total as non-optional and not indicated as provisional. And we can go ahead to continue adding more modules until this project is complete. Now we'll take a closer look at the Reports tab, which is the most important part of the Price-A-Job software. The Reports tab includes several pages: cover page, cover letter, quotes, summary, resources, bill of quantities, profit, payment schedule, contracts, and as well you can combine these and send them directly from within Price-A-Job. On the cover page, you have the ability to change the company logo just by clicking here, which is the same as updating in the Company tab. And you can click the Edit icon for an Actions menu, which allows you to change the block position, the text position, the text color, and logo visibility. Likewise, with the quote, you can click the Edit icon to change the number of columns, change the right to left positioning, justification, positioning, and text color. You can also select a variety of different titles. Some people prefer to receive an estimate, a quote, a quotation, or a proposal. Next, we have a cover letter. And this is professionally written, and with this you have a choice of templates. You can choose either a short version, a long version, or blank, and you can create your own template and then save it to use later on. Then we have the quote report, and this shows the pricing for each stage with the grand total at the bottom. If you prefer, you can also select to choose only the grand total without the subtotals for each stage, or you can show the full details with the breakdown of costs for each stage, including materials, labor, and plant. You also have full control over showing which costs are visible if you select the Advanced button, in which case you can deselect the description or materials or pricing for full flexibility. For example, you might remove the description to show just the costs. Next, we'll take a look at the summary report, and this breaks down the cost of each stage in either simple or advanced detail. The resource report shows all your material, labor, plant and tool, and other costs in either simple categories or advanced by stage. The bill of quantities is a quick reference. Shows all your materials, quantities, and costs. Next, we'll take a look at the profit report, and you can see, for example, on the foundation that your profit is 600 quid. And again, you can view this in either simple or advanced settings. Next, Price-A-Job includes a professionally written builder's contract, Expertly designed by accredited surveyors to cover most instances and ensure the transaction is legally protected. Of course, every scenario is different, and you will have to customize it to cover the particular requirements of each project. You can select from templates, customize them, and save it as a new template for future use. Once all the modules are input, you can generate your quotation in a second. You can then print it, export it as a PDF, export to Word, or email each report directly to your customer. If you wish, you can use the Combine function to combine reports. For example, a cover page, a cover letter, a quote, a summary, etc. It's generally a good idea to be sure that your profit report, however, is deselected so that you don't send that to your customer. You can then export this as a PDF, Word file, or Excel, and then export the report. Or email it directly to your customer. This has been a general overview of Price a Job, but we'll go into further detail on each function in other videos. Thank you very much for watching this video. We hope you enjoy using Price a Job.